The style of the film. Well, when we first met together to talk about it, I thought we were going to have to sort of fight our corner about style, and then about the style of it and references and stuff. And then what we found out was, even though everyone came with different references, there was like a real definite thread to it. There was a certain kind of aesthetic and a certain kind of beauty that everyone was in agreement with. Even though we hadn't sort of planned it out. A lot of it was, think whether it was.
My concept was travelling and a hippie vibe, and it could be quite loose, but at the end of the day, you have to nail these things down to get a film from it.
I mean, there was definitely certain references that we were all in agreement about, like With Nail and I think, like very sort of English things that had a sort of
Jamie used to make a lot of home
distress
videos.
beauty about it, and a nostalgia that I think everyone was sort of.
I definitely kind of came at it with, I wanted everyone to look quite feral, like they were from the countryside. They effectively lived, like, slept outdoors, and this was their stomping ground effectively.
Tips I would give aspiring designers, personally, from my own experience, I would say work experience is invaluable. Don't do work experience when your college asks you to, just do it from the get-go. Get involved with companies, see how they do stuff, see how they manufacture. That's how you're going to work out how people get stuff done, and see if it's for you. I mean, see if it's for you doing it on your own, or if you'd rather work for another company. This collection is obviously a lot different to my first collection. My first collection is very black and white, very muted, no prints or patterns. This one, I thought, spring, summer, it's not my favourite collection to design, but I thought, what do I love? What do I love about summer and spring? And I thought, what do I do? I thought, I go to festivals, I travel a lot, and then I started sort of looking for inspiration of, like, what sort of music do I like to travel and see. And my favourite artists, all generally back in the 60s and 70s, and the famous festivals, took inspiration from that, and sort of got it in my head that there's like these couple of lads just traipsing across the beautiful English countryside looking for this festival in their beautiful dainty little clothes. Basically, I started off at art college when I was 16. I've always been artistic, and I kind of, I'd love to have been a fine artist, and I think my parents always wanted me to be a graphic designer, something a little bit more safe. And then sort of in the last months of art college, I started doing textiles, and really loved working with fabrics, embroidering, weaving. I'd love to have been a textile fine artist, but I didn't know any textile fine artists, didn't even know anyone famous, didn't even know where to get a book on textile fine artists. So I couldn't say I could make a living out of that. And then one of my tutors said to me, why don't you go and study up in London and do fashion? And that's what I did, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Well, we had one definite agreement, no, two definite agreements right from the beginning, which was Jack and Louis.
They were going to be the stars.
Yeah, and then obviously Dave and Max, like, were just kind of fell into place, and they were perfect.
Yeah, it just worked out like that. It had, when we started filming them, all those sort of different characteristics come out in people, but it felt like it had that spirit of four strangers meeting at a festival, and then
but it was also
a bond of four people meeting at a festival.
But he was also quite lucky, the fact that me and Tom was at Glastonbury, and we cast Louis at Glastonbury, and we cast Jack at Glastonbury. The W Insider belt came about because I was having meetings, and they loved my idea, they loved my whole concept and everything, and they wanted somehow to incorporate that into the W Insider. And rather than do like a tie or a print, which I guess a lot of other people do, I sort of hit on the idea of doing this belt which you have attachments to it, and these attachments can carry a mini hip flask, i.e. the sort of festival side of it,